about 14 years ago, I developed an autoimmune disease called alopecia areata. And I was pregnant with my second child at the time. And I had just actually about 2 weeks before that done a modeling job with him in my tummy for an Atlanta magazine, little like maternity type look. So I have a photo from right before this happened. I had been modeling since I was 15, and I always thought that was kind of my thing, like that's who I am. You know, people would introduce me, oh, this is my friend Liz, you know, oh, you've seen her in magazines or you've seen her in newspaper or whatever. And I always thought that was what was important. Or just without that, I might not be as well liked. Gosh, my husband would have never fallen in love with me, you know, all these things. And so I definitely relied on that. In fact, I remember thinking, okay, God, like, you know, you think you can, if you start to think something, as long as you don't say it, then maybe he doesn't really know you're thinking it. But I remember going, okay, God, you know that I'm thinking this, that if you were to take this away from me, like my outer appearance, I just don't know what I would do. I don't know who I would be. And I remember just thinking that was kind of just a fear, you know, that I had. And so when I was pregnant with my son, I just suddenly my hair in the shower just started coming out, and I ended up losing a lot of it. I had like 5 pieces that would, like, when the air conditioning turned on, it would like, you know. And so I would wear a scarf, and then shortly also after I had him, that started about 2 weeks before I had him. And then shortly after I had him, I developed Bell's palsy. And so my face went completely like numb. I couldn't smile on that side. So I went from modeling a few weeks before to having a patch over my eye, because if you have Bell's palsy, you can't close your eye. So like if somebody did that, it would just poke, you don't blink. And so I had to wear a patch. I had no hair. And so I would have this bandana on and a patch, and kids in the mall would stare at me because their parents like tried to make them, you know, come on, don't look at the lady, you know. And so I went from being somebody that felt so confident that just smiling at people and getting that interaction, I realized how important that was to me. I became invisible, completely invisible. And people pretended like they didn't see me. And it was awful. It really, really, truly was. And the Bell's palsy did go away, and my hair, since then, I've lost it like twice. I had to shave it twice. Yes, twice. And used a whole lot of men's Rogaine, grew a whole lot of hair on my forehead, just shave it off. You know, just, I mean, you talk about like going from feeling really cute about yourself, you know, to feeling really like you've become sort of a faulty product, because I was a product when I modeled that my agent would sell, or, you know, people would buy the use of my outer appearance to sell their product. So when I became flawed, I could no longer be used for that. And so I felt part of me was relieved, because it was hard to keep up with that. But other part of me was like, okay, so who am I now? You know, until I realized, of course, knowing the Lord through it, I knew that He was, you know, in it. I mean, I knew what I had said, you know, many years before that, and what I'd feared. I didn't feel like God was doing anything, you know, to punish me for anything, but I knew that He was using this for something, you know. And so it's been really neat to be able to share with people, because what always shocks them, and I won't do it because I'm on camera right now, but when you lift my hair up, I have big bald patches here and here, just on this side right now. Sometimes I don't have bangs. Sometimes I don't have hair back here. I usually do not have sideburns, because, yeah, I do on this side, but like I don't right now. I just have this temperamental, you know, covering that I never know what it's going to be doing next. And I realized that I couldn't just say, hey, I'm Liz, I'm a model, because I wasn't anymore. Hey, Liz, I'm Liz, I'm an artist. I could say I'm an artist. I could say I'm a mom. But all those things pale in comparison to the fact that I am a daughter of the King. Like I'm a princess. Like I have a crown that is his because he's my daddy. And when your dad is a king, you become a princess, And I realized that is who God made me, was his child. Like not these things. In other words, being an artist as well, like my arms could fall off. I mean, and I've thought about that. I would learn to paint with my toes. I really would. But what if my toes fell off? You know what I mean? It's definitely something that whatever you have on this earth that you've been given can be taken away. The only thing that can't be taken away is your place in his heart. You are his child. So fast forward to my first mission trip to Honduras, which was not this summer, but last summer. I was asked to share that story with these girls that were in the mission that we were with, and I thought, what in the world do people care about hair? They surprisingly did. I had shared it many times in the U.S., but not over there. So I'd gone over there thinking, well, that'll be neat for me to share. And so I was over in Honduras, and we go out into the garbage dump to minister and bring food to these families that live. And when I say they live in the garbage dump, the garbage dump is at the top of this mountain, and they literally pilfer through, if that's even a word, pilfer through the trash as it's being dumped and grab whatever they can that they can eat or that they can, aluminum to sell. Children are grabbing any sort of glue they can find to sniff and huff. It's the worst thing I've ever seen. And we had been told, don't bring gifts. And that actually I was confused. I thought they were talking about bringing gifts to any Honduran. So I didn't bring anything. But what they were talking about was because these children are being sponsored, don't just bring one child a bunch of gifts. They were kind of having a problem with that. But I didn't know that's what they were talking about. So we go out, so I didn't bring anything. So we go out into the garbage dump, and these guys are with us that are, on the team with us, and they pull out of their backpack, they've got like a stuffed animal. And I'm like, what did you bring in gifts? I didn't bring anything. Somebody pulls out little earrings, and she's putting little earrings on the little girls, and I'm going, well, I just feel awful like I came to the party without a gift. And I had a backpack with me, which basically was just my sketch pad, actually my purse, and had a sketch pad, and I thought, well, I can draw. So I pull my sketch pad out, and I squat down next to this little girl, and I'll never forget, she was the most precious thing, and I drew a picture of her. God has given me this ability to draw people, and I can't even begin to tell you how cool it is, because I didn't teach it to myself. I've never taught myself anything of value. God has given me this, and so I'm just sitting there drawing her, and I put a crown on her head. And I'd never done that when I drew anybody, but I was like, I want this child to know, this child without shoes on, standing around needles and metal and glass, and she's sitting there without her shoes on, and she's smiling. And I draw her picture, and I put a crown on her, and the translator is with me, and I hand her the picture, and I said, you're wearing a crown because if God is your dad, that makes you, and he's the king, that makes you a princess. If you know Jesus, who is the king, then you become a princess. And she was looking at that picture, and I will never in all of my life forget that feeling that I got when I saw her, and I thought, I'm not worthy of this moment. It's just unbelievable. So I proceeded to draw everybody I came in contact with. I probably drew 200 Honduran people. They would get in line. They were in line, and while they were in line, our team was able to talk to them, pray with them. It was the coolest thing, and had I brought those gifts, God had another plan. He was going to show me what I had to give.